Hello, sweet souls. Thank you for joining my podcast. It's DTO. This is our 5Q interview because I get to have guests that are visionary leaders, creative souls, and empowered beings that are sharing extraordinary opportunities, projects, art with the world. And today I get to interview an amazing soul. And before I share more about that, I want to presence where I am right now. I am underneath our beautiful yoga shala at Embody, Costa Rica. Some of you followed the journey that Himalaya and I have been on, which is we have built this 2,000 square foot yoga shala where we invite people to come for transformation, for all the goodness that people that are seeking. I would say healing, creativity, and community are the top three, all a part of the new earth energy that's popping into our awareness. And so here's the outside of the Yogashala, and I'm actually casting this podcast below it and wishing everyone here that if you haven't seen me, met me before, you can go ahead and follow me on all the platforms that have anything to say with DTO music. That means Dave the Organism. And if you want to follow our journey at Embody Costa Rica, come down. We're only 25 kilometers from the international airport of San Jose, Costa Rica. And I always remind my friends, family, and soul tribe that there's daily flights. So if you're wanting to change the channel, shift your energy, come to a place called Embody. Let's make it happen. All right. And as you're watching this live or on the archive, we highly encourage you to comment, ask a question, and share. And those algorithms, we all know about those. They're super hungry. They're looking for delicious and nutritious items like an emoji. So even if you just are watching the podcast, if you just drop an emoji, that supports us to hopefully get more people and more viewers, because today's guest is an amazing soul on a roll. And she started out with creating music. She's going to tell us about that origin story. And I want to pop up a photo of her. She's going to present how long ago that was. And so without further ado, the visionary of New Earth Fest and the singer Harmony Om, we're bringing you on. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Dave.
My pleasure. It's another day in paradise. There's no place like Om.
That's right.
Fantastic. And before we move forward with anything, we get to share with everyone that we have today a brand new song on planet Earth for all of you Earthlings to check out. You organisms, check it out. It's called Alignment. And this is for you to really drop in. We encourage you to wear these powerful pieces over our ears that we call headphones, because you're going to hear all the sound design, the left ear, the right ear, the gorgeous vocals, and the whole alignment of frequencies, sounds, and vibrations. All right. So every superhero has a story that began somewhere in space and time. So this 5Q interview, little drum roll. Here we go. Question number one, Harmony Om. When did you fall in love with music?
Yeah, music has been one of those things that when I reflect back on my life, it has always been a part of it. And I really cannot remember a time that I didn't love it in my core. But if I had to really think about what that origin was for me, I was blessed with being a part of a musical family. So my grandmother was a music teacher, and my mom is and was a pianist and singer. And so from those very, very early memories, I have singing with my mom and my grandmother and hearing piano in the background of living my life as a child. And I also came from a family that went to church every Sunday. And so some of my very earliest memories are singing in church. And as you know, if you're also someone who was familiar with the weekly that weekly pulse of every Sunday showing up and singing in community, you sing a lot of the same songs over and over and over again. And that is definitely an early core memory for me. And you make your own fun whenever you do the same thing over and over. So from a very early age, I learned how to sing in harmony, uh, hearing the same melodies, those same songs, and figuring out like, hey, I can sing a third higher, or I can sing a fifth higher. I can explore counter melody, other things that can go along with these familiar songs. So that is definitely a core aspect of my story and those early days of my musical journey. And while I've taken a very different path in my life since then, there's definitely this element of that spiritual connection to music. And while that spiritual exact way of feeling that connection to spirituality has evolved for me over time, it definitely has still played an important it's an important part of that journey, is that spiritual aspect, and recognizing that it has changed forms to be much more universal, but definitely to have that as a part of my origin story. So I was also encouraged to study music as a child, and I was put in piano lessons when I was 5. Me and my sisters, we were all told that we had to take at least 2 years of piano when we were young. And I'm grateful for that. While I did not really stick with classical piano for all that long, that really was a core part as well of my early connection to music. And that evolving toward learning how to play guitar as a teenager, and later in high school, well, actually even earlier in middle school, learning how to play the flute and being in marching band, being in choirs. And yeah, I feel very, very blessed in that sense that I've always loved music. It's always been a huge part of my life. And it's taken different forms and iterations over the years. So, yeah.
I love that. This is such a commonality of having families that support our musical journey and inspire us, and force us to do something really cool like learn music. Force
Yeah.
in parentheses.
No,
I had the same thing. My mom was like, do your scales, practice, practice, practice.
right,
And I'd be like, but my mom, like my friends are outside playing. I want to be on the big wheels,
right.
She probably said it like, you'll thank me someday, which I did.
Oh, that's exactly what she said. And I do. Here I am thanking her in
There you
real
are.
time on the
Yes,
podcast. Thank you, Mom.
absolutely. Gratitude, moms that supported our musical path. So
Yeah.
fine. Wonderful. So, of course, learning, I like to call it OPM, other people's music,
Mm.
like the song you're done with OPP. And, you have your catalog of music. I have my catalog of music. And now we have a shared catalog of music, this beautiful song we created called Alignment. And so how did that start? Because really, you went from, and I want to share this beautiful circle that you were a part of, right? As you
Yeah.
mentioned, you got to be a part of, well, you can share more about it. Like, so you've met friends and you were at different events and you just kind of free flow music, like
Yeah.
some improv, I'd imagine, but also similar. And I was born and raised in a church as well, so I totally understand the hymns and
Mhm.
the predictability of it. And then I love how you brought in the harmonic and the harmonious parts of it, because like if you already
Mhm.
know the core melody, then you can start like fitting in puzzle pieces called melody. So share about this song circle. And when we started off the podcast, we
Yeah.
showed this photo of you playing guitar, and you said you played the flute. You're full of surprises.
Yes. Yeah, there are definitely some gaps in that story that we certainly should still fill in. So, again, coming from that musical upbringing, and as an early adult, late teen, um, going through that coming of age within myself to recognize that there was something about the essence, that spiritual essence of music that I had this connection with all of these years growing up in church and expressing music and song through that vantage point. And that inspired me to re- to retain that essence, but to explore it through other various lenses and from that more universal lens of spirituality. And so that led me toward cultivating an interest in more healing music and healing spaces. And song circles are one of those spaces where I was able to really drop in and connect to that same essence that I had cultivated, but through a different lens. So you saw me in that photo playing a harmonium, which, by the way, I wanted to point out that my name, Harmony Ohm, is harmonium. And so there's that connection to my past there as well, of when I was getting interested in learning how to play the harmonium. I was also teaching yoga at the time, and something that I still consider myself a yoga teacher, although I am on a little hiatus right now as a new mama. But uh, being able to uh, lead music, song circles, and share songs in those healing spaces is definitely a part of that next phase in my musical journey. And we're going the nonlinear path here. So I'm going to also go backwards just a little bit because there was the photo of me with the guitar. So, yeah. So in high school, I really started to get interested in creating music, which, yeah, this is probably the great segue for that second question of that inspiration of writing my own music. Um, so, yeah. So, what really inspired me to write my own music and um, launch into that whole phase of my life was just recognizing that I had cultivated a certain language around it and an ease and a certain fluency. And rather than some of the more rigid traditions of um, singing in a classical sense or the more classical, you know, playing the flute, playing the piano, I started to recognize that music could really be an art form for me and a medium for me to express on a more soulful level art through the creation of music. So I started learning about how to produce music as a teenager, and I had started playing guitar when I was 14. And I launched a project just through my name, Christine Kick. And that was really my learning journey, was learning how to record my music, learning how to work through the craft of songwriting and work through the craft of putting layers and instruments together into songs. So that photo is definitely a throwback from those very early music creation days of being a singer and songwriter. So, yeah, this journey's definitely taken a lot of different forms over the years with different instruments, different projects. In that, after that singer songwriter project, I found myself evolving there more toward, again, more conscious music, more spiritually tied music, um, and uh, continues to be an evolution and refinement to this day.
I heard a wise person say it's an infinite refinement back into alignment.
Hmm. I wonder where those words came from.
Yes, yes. I think I saw it on this beautiful release that came out today. It was like gorgeous. Big shout out to Josh Turner who made the gorgeous artwork. And yeah, and that's something that we get to recognize and acknowledge like we did our moms. Like it takes a team, you know, and it takes these song circles like we just shared. It's a community effort. And that's how art, I feel, evolves because we're that representation of our life experiences and how some people are going to share about that, maybe become a film director or write a screenplay or paint. We do it through music, and that's our frequency, that's our vibration, and that's a way for us to transmute the energy, the experiences. As you are a brand new mama, as you mentioned, you know, I'm sure there's a infinite amount of songs that can flow through that experience of transformation. So yeah, that's the power of music, right? And it's so wonderful that you chose the path of, you know, going from the church music and then being like, oh, I can create my own path. And these are songs and inspiration that are in my soul to be offered in service to others. And that's really what I feel we let it go, right? Once you write the song, like today's release day, there's a reason they call it release, right?
Very
Like,
good point.
yeah. And all the time and the hours in the studio and the back and forth and the messages and the emails and the WhatsApp and the cha-cha-chas and all the dance we do. It's like, it's more than a two-step, everyone. And we're honored because when you do magically hit that button and play it on your preferred platform, then you can feel the energy that really every song has to offer. And what I love is when you write your music, you are a multi-instrumentalist. So you can pull from your piano playing, your music theory, from the guitar, from the harmonium, which I love the harmonium, flute, and really just tap into whatever it is that is, you know, feeling for you to come to life. And that's what I feel. It's just like these songs get birthed. So it's really beautiful. Well, let's jump into the next phase, which is every artist I've found has a creative process. Even if they're not conscious of it, if they start to think about it, there is some kind of process that goes into how it starts to unfold. Even if it's, hey, I wrote this song, I was driving to work, and all of a sudden the song came to me. And sometimes people, like when I'm on a walk in nature, I'm on a run, sometimes songs come to me. Those are more like spontaneous. But do you have any rituals or practices that set you up for success? And share with your audience here your creative process.
Yeah, I think it depends in terms of saying a creative process. I also produce music, right? So the creation process of sitting down to produce music for me is different than the creative process of songwriting or even spontaneous creation, channeling music, jamming, you know, that spontaneous creation. But it all is related to that ability to be present and to be able to filter out the noise and whatever that act of creation is, to really be able to set aside those distractions and to set the intention to bring forth the art through that process, and then to be able to manifest that in the moment. So that being said, I would identify as a highly creative person in the sense that my creative process can take many forms, and frequently it is in the car or on that walk or in a yoga class or whatever it is, and just getting those downloads, whether it's a melody, and sometimes starting with a melody, and then the words that transpire, sometimes with a few words or a phrase that's coming through with the melody, that then a session of sitting down and working with the song a bit more will bring through the rest. Or sometimes it's just letting it stew. And in the background of my life, I'll get another download and it's like, oh, hey, this goes with that song that I had, that other part that just came through last week. And oh, here's the next part. So it can definitely be that kind of an experience. I want to speak just a little bit more to my name, Harmony Ohm, because this is also related to my creative process. That when you think of the Ohm is representative of all sound. And you can think of it as like the drone, right? An ohm is usually just one note, but it holds the space for all of this other creation to be able to exist within that root note. And so the harmony is that infinite creation that can exist within that container. So one of my very favorite tools for my creative process is to simply play a drone, whether that's on the harmonium, whether that's pulling it up on my music making software and putting down a simple ambient track or a singing bowl, and then to just see what comes from there, where you have infinite opportunities to create melody and to create words and to really express without needing to have a specific tempo or any specific chords, and to just see what comes through.
Yes. So that container, that intention, and congrats to you to having the skill sets to produce, because I don't think everyone listening or understands how long it takes when you first open up a software program to be like, oh, what's all this? And all I hear right now is silence. And then you're building from nothingness, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, and you're going and
Oh
you're
my
going,
goodness.
multi-track recording. And then you're putting layers down. You're playing this instrument. You're experimenting with another instrument. And then, all right, what's the message? What's the intention? Do I want people to dance? Do I want people to be Om and meditation? What's the beats per minute? What's the rhythm? Am I going to play every instrument? Am I going to collaborate with someone else? Am I going to hit up DTO and we're going to do a collab? So there's so many layers to the onion. And, you know, it's so lovely, the process. And that's why I love this question about creative process, because, you know, it's about the journey. It's not about necessarily the destination. And so through that, of course, you develop friendships, you develop a rapport. And I feel for us beings that are creating this music that is for the new earth and this new possibility of frequency and energy that's coming through, that there's this alignment. And it happens to be everything we just said and is representative of who you are by guiding and leading this beautiful upcoming festival, by creating music and the lyrics that can really get people to remember their divinity and their greatness. So that's what I love about music. It's a message and it's just out there to share and to share. And we don't know how it's being received until we get the feedback. But before we get into question 4, which is going to talk about how people respond to the music, let's take a look and let's have a listen to this beautiful song called Alignment. And this is available on all streaming platforms. So anyone out there, whichever one's your favorite. Of course, if you're on a platform like Spotify where you can playlist it, we would love for you to share. So here you go. Without further ado, Alignment. Yes. Quick sneak preview for everyone. Little 90-second snippet.
Mhm.
So good. Takes you in a whole other orbit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Takes me back to our creation process.
absolutely.
All
Yeah.
the back and forth and all of the
Mhm.
refinements that we found to create the alignment of the track. So
Yes, I think there's a few times, my humor came through. I was like, "Is it in alignment?"
I
And you're like,
know.
"It's totally not in alignment." Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like,
You're like, what do you think? Aligned?
totally.
Yeah.
I'll
Mhm.
sometimes share with Himalaya, my wife will be like, does this align with your chakras?" Whatever it is I'm asking, like, "Hey, you wanna go dinner tonight?" Just
That's
jokingly,
right.
like, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's all about
I know
alignment.
that's right. I picked the right person to, work on the track, right?
Totally, yeah, and many people that know who I am in the world, I created and you talk about the harmonium and
Mhm.
chakras and yoga, this is my debut album, Nameless Energy, and that's exactly how I felt, and earlier you're talking about, like, the inspiration and who you are as a yoga instructor. Really, for me, when I was in classes, I would hear sometimes playlists that were a little, like, crunchy compared to what the flow was like, and I was like,
Mhm.
that music's not the proper music," and I'm grateful for that dissonance that happened personally to me because I was like, "Wait a minute, I think I can create music for yoga," and, of course, the rest is history because I had this 5-year project, a lifetime in the making, launched Nameless Energy, and so a lot of people know me from that process. And then my sophomore album is 7 songs for 7 chakras, and that's like studying. All right, well, what does each chakra energy center in the body represent,
Mhm.
and then how musically can I put and create something that has that intention behind it? And so, and I'm grateful because the part of this project for me has been to take in those experiences. And when you sent over the ideas and the vocals and the songwriting, I got to put my DTO production and sound design and create all these other layers to it. And I do want to announce to everyone there is an instrumental version, which is so
Mhm.
fantastic. So in
Yeah.
case there is someone that's a yoga instructor or wants to record a guided meditation over it, or someone that's a facilitator for embodiment practices or whatever it might be, if you have the microphone and you're speaking, then you can have the instrumental version. And then, of course, you can have the lyrical version come on as well. And that's what I love about these 2-song like EPs that we launch on Spotify. Because if you just hit play, it actually just like loops. I don't know if
Mhm.
you've been into that vortex yet. We're just
For
like, oh
sure.
yeah, it's this long soundtrack, and all of a sudden here comes Harmony Om again, and so
Mhm.
beautiful.
Mhm.
So, how do people respond to your music? I think this is a wonderful question because a lot of us that are artists, we put out this self-expression, this creativity, and we're not always clear on how it's going to land. So, what kind of ways have people shared of what they've experienced with Harmony Om?
Yeah. So the music that I create through Harmony Ohm, this project, is at the intersection of electronic music and medicine music, music that heals, music that uplifts. And so when I bring my songs to the world and really coming with that intention, the feedback that I've gotten is, wow, we need more music like this in the world. And overall, I would say um, it's people connecting, people recognizing that this type of music is a vehicle for their own transformative processes and for being able to connect to, you know, their own healing, their own journeys. So there's, different contexts, of course, that I've gotten feedback with my music. One of my most favorite ways to share my music is uh, with my friends and bringing them into my spaces and doing those sneak peeks and those, hey, this is what I've been creating. And right now, as my music release journey is relatively new, I just have a few songs out now with many, many more in the works and several more releases lined up for this year already. I'm still in that process of really getting out the core essence of this project to the world. So I welcome the feedback, and I am just so grateful to have the opportunity to share this and to you know, to have the space in my life and the energy and everything to be answering this call. And yeah, look forward to so much more of it.
Hmm. It's only the beginning.
Only the beginning.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so excited to speak about this larger project that you've taken on,
Yeah.
which is really about global transformation and having the opportunity for people that are in their zones of genius, right? We all have our gifts to share. So here we go. Tell us about the new Earth Fest. So exciting. This is so
Yes.
great. So you are a part of this vision of a new
Mhm.
Earth Fest, which making sure everyone that's watching this knows to buy your tickets. It's for July 3rd through the 6th
Mhm.
this summer, 2025, Lost Hill Lake in St. Clair, Missouri.
Mhm.
And again, here is the website. Right here, it is newearthmusicfest.com.
Mhm.
And we can later on share about the Instagram. But yeah, in your own words, tell everyone and invite everyone to come to the new Earth Fest.
Yeah. So, New Earth Fest is a music and wellness and healing arts festival that is about 45 minutes outside of St. Louis, Missouri, which is my hometown. And really, the inspiration behind this is recognizing that this energy that I'm cultivating through this project as Harmony Om and through my other ventures as a yoga teacher and beyond, um, that we need this right here where I am here in the Midwest, and that there's this been this tendency in my life to say, oh, I'm going to go to California, or I'm going to go to this amazing festival in Costa Rica where DTO is, or, I'm going to go somewhere else to go find this conscious tribe and to go seek this type of community. And this is about that cultivation right here, and at a very grassroots level, to say that this is what I'm calling forth in my home here in Missouri. And to also be able to interweave that this project, this music, this everything, this conscious cultivation, it's not always about going out and while it certainly is to expand this out in the world, it's just as much about planting it right here and cultivating that right here. So we have an amazing lineup of artists that are a mixture of some artists in the conscious and the high vibe music scene that are touring, coming here. And also we have our local artists that are doing this right here in Missouri um, and surrounding areas. And we're weaving it all together, right? We're taking it and we're building something beautiful. So
Hmm.
yeah, we're also offering lots of workshops and wellness experiences where we'll have live artists, aerial artists, fire performances, lots of different experiences on a beautiful piece of land with both a river and a lake. And yeah, we have so many wonderful things in store for this event. And it also feels like this is just the beginning, right? This is our first year. And I've been blown away at how much support we've had on so many different levels and enthusiasm for really cultivating this here. So really
Wonderful.
so looking forward to it, and inviting anyone who feels that this is something that they feel called to, is this cultivation of this new earth energy. We invite you to come out and come be a part of manifesting the magic of the new earth with us.
So this is your Instagram, and
Mhm.
everyone can go and follow and see all the featured performers, artists
Mhm.
that are part of this. Some acro yoga. Oh, I love the flyer.
Mhm. Mhm.
Beautiful community. Yeah, and I'm from the Midwest. Many people know from Iowa, and I used to go down to Missouri. Have some great memories going down the Ozarks specifically and driving down. And so yeah, it's we need this, right, in that part of the world. And I completely agree, because my journey, of course, took me to California for 2 decades. I live in Costa Rica now.
Yeah.
And for us to really cultivate the communities that are seeking this really matters. So I want to acknowledge you for creating that space for people. It's really powerful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we need it. We need it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing to go to those spaces, and it's another sort of angle of the call to,
Mm-hmm.
cultivate that where we are, right? There's that phrase, bloom where you're planted. So,
Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
we have a beautiful community here, and this is certainly not the first Conscious Festival by any means. We'll also be supporting other Conscious Festivals across the Midwest this summer, and yeah, just so looking forward to cultivating this, and yeah, hopefully for years to come.
Fantastic. Well, it looks fantastic here, and everyone can see the information. So you go to New Earth Music Fest. It's scrolling down below here. Go to the ticket link, and there you have it. You can go directly to here and choose your options, full weekend. And it's an add to cart world. Just click it, grab your ticket, and
Easy peasy.
enjoy. There you go. It's all ready for everyone. So, well, I appreciate you being here and your presence, your energy. I'm really honored that I got to work on this collaborative project with alignment. And any closing words?
I want to just say thank you. And I have loved working on this project and looking forward to the next time that we get an opportunity to collaborate. If you're an artist, if you're someone who's on their own journey of making art and music, um, I want to know you. I want to connect to you as well. And so please reach out um, over Facebook, over Instagram. And would love to hear the things that you're cultivating, that we're all cultivating together. And yeah, wishing everyone a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you again, Dave, so much.
My,
Appreciate you.
my pleasure. Thanks for being on the 5Q
Yeah.
interview podcast with DTO and the Flow. Wanting you to know that everyone here, whatever is in your soul to create, we're here to support as fellow producers, musicians, artists. And yeah, I extend that offer as well. If anyone wants to reach out, if you also want to add alignment to your Instagram reels or your Facebooks or your
Mhm.
TikToks, feel free to do that. And you can always tag us to let us know that you're supporting us by sharing the music out there. And yeah, that's our request, and enjoy, and feel free to share any feedback. And we will complete with a little snippet that we played earlier. And thanks everyone for being here. See
All
you,
right.
everyone. Thanks,
Thanks,
O'Neill.
everyone.